Oh my gosh. Here we are. We're live. Hello. It has been over 3 months since the last Fredas in Tamriel. How does that make you feel, Shadow?
I mean, I've been here. It's just
No,
haven't
you
been.
literally haven't existed in 3 months. You only exist in the stream.
I'm but a dream within a dream.
Back at it. The old familiar places. Back in Tamriel. On Twitch. So what do you think? You want to do High Isle? It sounds like that might be kind of fun. We have to start the prologue quest, though. I'm all for it.
Oh god, I literally just did the prologue quest.
Wait, you already did it?
With a different character, I'm just
okay.
like...
Is it good, though? That's the question.
Is it good? Are any of the prologue quests actually good?
The Elsewhere one was
quest
okay.
Good?
I thought the Elsewhere one was pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
It was cinematic.
I'm sorry, like my entire definition of what makes for a good RPG quest is getting redefined by my other suffering. So
I understand.
Yeah, I agree with you. We could do the prologue. I'm fine with that. It's something.
I'm not sure how we would start it otherwise. I guess we would just travel there.
Yeah, and I honestly, I have so many waypoints unlocked that I'm not really sure where you're supposed to start.
If you... I mean, it's unclear as far as intent, but if you chose High Isle in the tutorial, it would spit you out just outside the capital city, the port city.
Let's start the zone. I'll start the zone story. That'll solve it. Yeah, capital. We're supposed to go to the capital.
Let me travel there.
Right,
yeah, because it's Jakarn? Is that his name? The rogue? He's like one of the main characters.
Yes, because he's also involved with the... Yeah, that makes sense.
He's originally from Daggerfall. He was one of the heist members that you recruited.
Did you know Jakarn is actually one of the original pansexual characters they designed? It's entirely intentional that he will flirt with you vociferously.
I did know that. I did know that. He's yeah.
I thought it was bad AI design.
No, he's just into everybody.
Yeah, he's
very polyamorous.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice.
People complaining about the new Altmer character being non-binary and like ESO suddenly being all woke, and it's like ESO has always been woke since the very beginning. And if you don't like that, you are in the wrong game.
Over here.
Yeah, I felt that way when they jumped on the Dragon Age series, and I was like, yeah, but it's been that way since Origins. There's some really hilarious and weird stuff that happens.
I'm not
especially
gonna...
Noble Human story, if you start there. There are some of those interactions I literally kept saving so I could start back at the beginning and do all the different dialogue options because some of them were so outlandish.
Yeah, I don't want to start drama in the circles of communities, but there was a Discord community of a fairly well-known streamer in the circles that I occupy that I ended up having to leave because, among many other problematic things, after Dragon Age came out, there were so many comments from the streamer and from his community that were quite shocking for the larger furry community is fairly accepting generally, and I was really disappointed. So I am standing...
Larger what community? Furry?
The largely furry community, yeah.
Okay.
Fairly accepting community, fairly open-minded, but not in that case. I am standing next to Jakarn. He is such a small man. Are you really? Wait, where are you? Because he can spawn in many places.
Oh, he can spawn in many places.
Yeah, because he'll kind of follow us all over the island until we talk to him. So we need to... I'm by the Way Shrine. I guess that's the easiest way to say it. Also, hi chat. How is everyone tonight? Happy Friday. I'm in the Way Shrine. I can tell you the exact name. It is the Gonfalon Square Way Shrine.
Gonfalon Square.
Literally in the city.
Okay, but if I go in the city, it should appear. Reasonably speaking.
Yep,
That's
it's
how
pretty
this
central.
goes.
Pretty central.
Alright, I'll just start walking it.
How are my homies? Everybody ready for a nice holiday? Nice American holiday.
What's past the happiest time of year? Halloween is at an end.
Sadly, yes. It lives forever in our hearts, but in the social circles, it's over once again. Is it me or did October was like a blur, right? It felt like it lasted a week.
For me too.
I barely got to celebrate.
We're getting settled into the new house, which is interesting.
Excitement.
Yeah. Lots of different kinds of excitement. Lots of work. The puppy's immediately happy, of course. And I call her Puppy affectionately. She's at the end of her
She's
days.
larger than I am and quite old.
Yes. She's essentially 80-year-old Great Dane.
Yeah. That's... I mean, how old is she actually? Like in human years? Because...
counting in normal years, she's...
Yeah, just like normal years.
9?
I was gonna say, because really big dogs like that tend to have shorter lifespans than a small dog, right?
Yeah, it's the curse against humanity that the little dogs will live forever and the big dogs will die.
Oh, there you are.
But we actually deal with the same thing with giantism in humans, that we get all kinds of different problems. I'm gonna invite you.
Humans are fairly long-lived for primates.
If you get really tall, big buff guys, though, they tend to have lots of heart issues.
Yeah, it's just the larger you get, the harder your heart has to work, and the harder your heart has to work, the less the shorter it lasts, generally.
I don't see that as like a negative thing or anti-tall guy. It's just, biologically we have problems.
I will say, before we start this quest, I'm going to go on a small tangent. That is one thing that I constantly have anxiety about is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being like 7 feet tall, and I think we've talked about this, and being like 400 pounds of raw muscle, and also being on every performance enhancer ever created by man, because those also destroy your heart. And he's Samoan or Oceanic, so like he has like every potential heart threat comorbidity known to man, and it worries me.
Fresh off the boat, eh? High Isle is a good place for an adventurer to earn some gold, provided you have the right connections. The name's Jakar. My patron needs someone like you, an unknown.
He's certainly not a dumb man.
It'd be worth your time to befriend her. Lady Arabelle DeVoe. Maybe you've heard of her. She's a famous investigator and author, diplomat too, which is why she's here. She runs in circles way above my station, but I owe her a debt that I'm trying to pay. Maybe you can help me do that. A fair bit of gold, most likely. Lady Arabelle works for one of the richest nobles in all Tamriel, Lord Bacaro Valoris. He's sponsoring an important conference here on the island, but there's a problem. Trust me, the payday will be worth it. Lady Arabelle will appreciate an outsider's perspective. She's at the Gonfalon Bay docks with Lord Bacaro, if you want to introduce yourself. The problem I mentioned, it involves some missing ships. Anyway, tell her Jakarn sent you. I'm her favorite. Long story. It involves multiple maidens, a few princes, and one charming rogue who stole all their hearts. Then the authorities got involved. Fortunately, Lady Arabelle agreed to take responsibility for my good behavior. Now I owe her.
Alright, Jakarn. We need to go talk to Lady Arabelle DeVoe. I appreciate...
She was like a spy master for one of the 3 groups, and she has since switched over to trying to be like a sponsor for peace. It's kind of fascinating.
She's a really cool character.
And she may or may not be writing some of these saucy, basically, James Bond.
There was a storm off the coast.
Yes.
It delayed the ships.
Yeah, it's not James Bond. I think it's more like Martha Grimes kind of books, mystery novels.
And you're practically
I keep hearing both sides of it, where some people are like, oh yeah, it's very saucy.
Investigator Vale, I think they're called.
Yeah.
The Investigator Vale series. She's like one of the most famous authors in Tamriel in this era. I have to say, I appreciate any time in popular culture that there's bi representation, because it's almost unheard of. A lot of gay representation in this day and age. Not a lot of bi representation. Almost unheard of, because popular media companies think that's a little bit more than like an audience can handle.
Yeah, definitely.
I liked him
That's more cool. I love when they make fun of that sort of stuff in boys. That's some of his like shining moments to me.
I liked in Loki. If you watch that series, it's multiversal, so he runs into a female Loki, and she asks him something about, did you ever have any loves? And she goes, a few fair maidens, maybe a few princes. And he looks at her funny for a minute and he goes, a bit of both. Probably the same as you, I assume.
Really? He says that to you?
Loki says that, yeah, in the series. Loki is,
oh, right,
he's canon by. Wow, there's a lot of dialogue here.
The lighthouse in the Lockabane shadows. See if anyone knows or saw anything. Then meet me outside the North Gate to compare notes.
I appreciate that within Tamriel, the Bretons are essentially one era of the English Isle, right? And then the Reach is essentially a very older era of the British Isle.
Certainly. Since you're new to High Isle, I understand you may not be as familiar with the local area as I am.
Okay.
What do you wish to know?
I'm having to Google definitions way more.
Gone for Longhead
Life in
Lighthouse,
general.
blessed by Kinnereth herself, stands atop the hill just west of town. It offers an excellent vantage from which to watch the nearby waters. Perhaps the lighthouse keeper saw something that will help. Possibly. When ships fail to make port, it's only natural to wonder if they were damaged or blown off course by a storm. The lighthouse keeper has a perfect view of the approach to Gontalon Bay. If my ships were out there, she might have seen them. The currents of Lockabane are strong. Flotsam from the open sea often washes up along the shores of the waterway. Some of High Isle's poorer folk comb the beach looking for salvage. Let's hope they haven't found any today. The ancient Anchor Inn sits just up the street near the city gate. It's one of the more popular places on the island. In my experience, inns are an excellent location to pick up rumors.
Alright, so we have multiple locations to talk to, and people we could talk to here.
Right, let's see.
A visitor, or another one of Lady Arabelle's associates. Either way, welcome to our island. Baccaro Valoris, founder of the Society of the Steadfast, at your service.
Yes?
I hope you find your visit to High Isle restful and profitable. Yes, a sudden squall of unusual intensity. It died out just as quickly as it arose. I noticed it off to the northeast. Dark clouds filled that part of the horizon. Perhaps our ships were delayed by the shifting winds, or decided to wait out the storm. I'm afraid that's privileged information. Suffice it to say, the cargo coming in on those ships is vital to the conference the Society of the Steadfast is sponsoring. Of course I do, but I learned long ago to have patience when it comes to such matters. Not every setback is a conspiracy, and not every delay is the act of a Daedric cult. Though, if you do learn anything of imminent concern, please let us know.
There's a giant zombie next to me.
I'm the dock master.
Is it a player?
What does the lady expect me to do?
Is it
if
trying
the
to
ship's
eat
never
you?
made it to
I
the
hope
dock in the
not.
first place?
He looked drunk.
I didn't know that drunk was an
Lady
option.
Arabelle suspects
It might
some
just
sort
be
of
an
foul
emote.
play, but not on my docks. Not a chance. Gonfalon Bay is
Yeah, I
safe.
think he's
Everyone
just
knows
using an
that.
emote. Maybe
Trouble
his
comes from the
comrade
mainland,
is
not
taking
from
too
me.
long to come back.
Of course, the
Yeah,
waters
he's
to the
certainly
northeast
doing
can't
that
be
whole
trusted.
zombie thing.
Can you... Is drunk a status in ESO?
It's not a status, but it looks like he's using an emote.
The more unpredictable.
Because I know like certain drinks are marked alcoholic.
Not to mention sea pirates. A good captain knows these things. None of that would keep Lady Arabelle's ship from reaching port. Like I said, storms close to Amanos aren't that unusual. I doubt the ships we're waiting for would have sailed that far north.
The only thing that sometimes makes me sad about this game is you can't really be excessively clever.
You can't really what?
You can't be excessively clever and, like, trap them into their inconsistencies and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's obviously not telling us everything, but our characters look too nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a flaw.
the problem with this game is that you don't have enough dialogue options to make the character what you want because it's an MMO and they need the dialogue to fit a million players. So they just went for the most generic options possible.
Yeah, not even all RPGs now give you options. Sometimes they think the illusion's better than the reality.
Citrus said, "I'm here, I promise. I was just away from my computer." It's okay.
Hello, Citrus.
Hello.
Need an Iron Man award. You're always here.
Citrus was the first chatter. He usually is. He actually, I don't know if you know this, Citrus. I don't think I've mentioned this to you. I was looking through some stream settings last night, and you are the top chatter of the channel. It's not even close. Like, I think it's like double the next person, which I think was Scully, but it's not even close.
Someone ought to do something.
Citrus said blushes. Alright,
We
me
love
too.
you, Citrus. You're welcome to come and talk as much as you want. Or tell me I'm an
Hail,
idiot.
friend.
I get told that
Have you
enough.
heard about the band of robber knights that waylaid
I'm certainly
travelers on
not
the
gonna get
road to
offended.
Gonfalon
I had
Bay?
a couple students call me a bitch today. That was nice.
Oh, did you know that it's become genderless?
Yeah, well, it was a moment.
Oh
A
my.
rogue band that
I
calls
remember my
itself the
first time
Ascendant
getting a
Order.
double bird by a kid walking home from school.
I actually was
I hugged back and gave him a double bird too. It was a very kind moment, very thoughtful.
there's like there's a strange solidarity when you're driving and someone flicks you off and you flick them back off and your eyes lock and you have a moment.
He was walking home from
Not
school. I think
specifically,
he was
but I saw
just
some fancy pants
trying to get
nobles giving the
attention.
dock
But it was
master
a good moment. His
Missing
buddies
ships
were
could mean
pleased
anything.
for him.
Storms,
I was driving home yesterday and I was making a right-hand turn
Try Sergeant Dane.
on a red, but like it was totally clear. The car in front of me, I was waiting for them to make the turn. They creeped about 90% into the perpendicular lane, and then they stopped. Well, I'm looking left to make sure it's okay to turn, and I assume they've continued, and I start to pull out, and then I happen to look forward and slam on the brakes because she's just stopped in the middle of the road. There's no traffic. Don't know why she stopped. And so I almost hit her, and then as I go around her into the further left lane, she flicks me off and I flick her off, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you just stopping in the middle of the road?
Wait. There was somebody that I was sort of friends with for a while, and I remember her having a breakdown in the middle of driving once, and she stopped in the middle of the intersection and had a cry.
Oh,
That's
that's a problem.
What on earth are you doing? This is not an option.
Yeah.
Your option is to go forward. Your option is to listen to construction driver, to listen to the cop. Stop and cry is not an option.
I remember being in the car with your brother once, and he said the simplest thing that I was like, it's the most applicable advice to all drivers, and he was just like, do what people expect of you. Don't do unexpected things behind the wheel. Like, just do what's expected.
Just that they're a little more than well
Yeah, he could be.
They've been recruiting
Probably the most enlightening thing was when he was honest to you about wanting you to play a game with him, and you're like, but I've never played that before. He's like, well, that's not a problem.
So he could kick my ass. Because it was like his favorite game.
That defines how Ian always plays, like every game. He wants people to be as weak as possible.
I mean, that's a play style. I know a few people like that. And the older I've gotten, like, if people want to play their games on easy, you know, whatever. It's about enjoying the game. So this Ascendant Order, everyone we've talked to keeps saying they're, like, not a big deal.
I'd like to get that.
And, like, that we shouldn't be worried about them at all. But the
definitely
name...
feel like that's downplaying it.
The name Ascendant Order is concerning. Citrus responded to you. He said, I'm an idiot too. Don't worry, Shadow. And you're cool, not an idiot. High praise.
God, it depends on the students of the day. Oh, my.
Alright. I'm following you. You've always been the,
We got 2 pointers out of the area. I think one is to the lighthouse and one is to some other zone. Shallows.
That stupid Golden Pursuits thing that they introduced in the last update has, like, because it's like various different quests can complete it, I now have quest markers everywhere, constantly, at all times.
Yeah, we should, like, really think about handling that maybe after we get this first quest done of the night.
I think it's just a bunch of random boring things, like one of them's just cooking.
That's not one of the ones I got.
I know, because it's random, so it's really hard to, like, work on it with your friends.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought for sure you'd get all the same ones I did.
I don't think so. We can double check, though.
I feel less guilty now, because I accidentally did, like, 2 or 3 of them before it hit me. Oh, wait. Wait. Karasu and I'm actually going to game again, because I've been, you know, by myself.
I know.
So I had a few touching moments. Those trials, I literally got to the end of one of them, and it, like, had a happy cry. So it was like, oh my goodness, I actually was online, talked with human beings, and it went okay.
Social contact.
My last, like, experience was with a bunch of 14-year-olds, you know, as a child, and it didn't. Yeah. Oh.
Is this a side quest or is this the investigation?
Yeah. I need to go slightly different direction.
Wait, where have you gone?
I took it down into. I took a step into the drink.
Oh, you slipped off.
That's why I was laughing. I'm used to a game that works me up anytime I fall. I can't injure myself.
We need able hands to
At least not from falling.
Well, that's good. Yeah, this is a side quest.
No, it's pretty torturous, honestly. But
I just looked at this dude's face, and I kind of wish I hadn't.
We are prosecuting a
do we want to do that side quest? I can come get it.
And the Admiral ordered me to gather as many capable fighters as I can muster for a landing party. And need about a dozen.
We can come back to it. It's not going anywhere. I'd like to at least finish our investigation.
Yeah.
The Bretons have such a nice aesthetic in their architecture, in their clothes, and their armor. It's very traditional medieval.
I think they were going for a very heavily grounded thing in this region.
Well,
it's kind of nice.
The Bretons, everything about the Bretons is essentially just
for the night.
England.
Oh, do you want it? Do you want it?
No, you take it.
It's a simple.
All you.
Sure.
I'll grab the next one.
They literally glow and make noise, so it's not like we're going to miss them.
I looked into getting that perk, but I don't do enough excavations. It would take me a long time to level those up enough to get that passive.
Yeah, that's legitimately something you have to actually enjoy doing to reasonably get those perks.
It's just, it is a very slow grind.
We actually have to get out of the town.
Have to leave
Follow
town.
the perimeter road to... Yeah. Alright. Do you wish to climb our board?
Actually, yeah, I do. Wait, don't leave me!
Oh, your elk is so pretty.
This is such a pretty zone. It's like top 3 zones for me that I've seen so far.
It feels very New Zealand, which is kind of nice.
It does, yeah, that's a good point, which kind of makes sense being an island.
Just making sure I'm taking it to the right location.
Are you heading to the lighthouse?
Yeah.
I assume that's it. Tower in front of us.
I will tell you, because this is the only character I have a horse on, it's very disconcerting the way they move, as opposed to like a cat or the mini-legged bugs.
It feels a bit like a toy horse galloping. Just a heads up for chat, we have an ad break starting in 30 seconds. Hang in there, you got this. Or you could subscribe and you'd have no ads, but that's up to you.
Traveler. Thought those vile knights
Yeah,
had returned.
fake choice.
Forgive me.
Live or
I
die,
was
make your
busy
choice.
praying for the return of our idol. Without
Oh,
This
I literally
tower's
see
light
one of
will
the
remain
ships
dark.
moving in the background. That's actually really nice.
It's such a cool update that they were able to do for this expansion.
this lighthouse is special.
Mochi is here. What's up, Mochi?
God of winds and sea.
Welcome
No
on
fire
in.
serves as a beacon for nearby
We are in
ships,
Tamriel.
but the
It is
divine light
Friday,
of
and that's where we
Kinnereth
are
herself.
always at
Without the sacred idol,
on stream on a
light
Friday.
cannot shine. Alas,
Yo, you're the first person to activate the new lurk command. Way to go.
Alert.
We have a lurk command.
knights in unmarked livery broke
Knights
in and
in
stole
unmarked
the
livery.
Kinnereth idol. I watched the scoundrels
Does feel a
flee
bit
to the
like
west with
the
sacred edifice.
Bretons should have a bit of a military advantage
Would you be
over
willing to
other
recover the idol for the
races
lighthouse
because
so I
their
may
armor
restore
is
the
so much
beacon?
more advanced. In some cases, they're wearing full plate, which is about 1,000 years more advanced than a lot of what we see.
Well, this is also a world of magic, so full
They may
plate
wear the
armor
garb
might
of
not be as
knights, but the
effective as you
ruffians
think it
who
is,
assaulted me
especially
carry
if somebody
themselves
lobs
like
fireball
robbers
at
and
you.
outlaws.
True.
Whoever they
One
are,
thing
they're dangerous.
I used to
Beware
complain
of
about a
them,
lot with the
and
Lord
they
of the
will
Rings
win battle.
movies is that everyone is in full plate. The Rohirrim are essentially wearing full plate armor. The Uruk-hai during Helm's
Bless you,
Deep
traveler.
are in full
Please
plate.
understand, to my
And
order,
at
this is
that
more than
point,
just a lighthouse.
nobody is
This
dying
beacon spreads
unless you're
Kinnereth's
using like
blessings
flails,
across both
right?
land
And
sea,
in fact, if you
but
look
only with
in
an
a lot of
idol
the
in
fight
place,
scenes,
so it
when
must
they're
be
doing
returned.
killing blows, the blades are really just bouncing off the armor. When you really pay
I have
attention.
our second chest of the night.
It is marvelous, is it not?
It's also a
This is
supplement.
actually the second
I'm still
beacon
talking to
stand
this
atop
lighthouse
Babylon
keeper.
Head.
She's very
It
chatty.
dates back to the early 1st
I'm
century.
gonna stay away from it
When I
just in
assumed
case,
my
you know,
duties
player
here,
walks up.
the tower was
I
in
don't
poor
think
repair.
we're likely to
Dangerous
lose
even.
it.
When Duchess Alea Dufort assumed her father's duties a few years ago, she ordered a complete renovation of the structure. I'm sure she wanted to
will
Oh, I
say
see
I
your
like
ship.
the
Gonfalon
voice
Bay,
actor
but she
for the
spared no
Nikki
expense in
band.
rebuilding the lighthouse.
I would very much like to hear him at some point.
Yeah,
Okay.
his quest is free unless you want me to, we'll have to come over. Oh, the chest is up here.
I'll probably do his quest at some point just to have him. Not that I plan on using him.
Yeah, I try out everybody and try to make it make sense for each character. I am starting to get comfortable with most of the looks I'm doing for my characters, but, you know.
There's a running joke in the larger ESO community that the true endgame of ESO is fashion.
Buy a lady a drink at the next inn?
Oh my
I was
goodness.
really proud of myself. I nicknamed my last name of my Dragonite character is Dragonkin.
Oh, very cool.
Or no, not Dragonkin, Drakekin.
Drakekin.
For some reason, I like drakes more than dragons. Don't ask me; it's weird. I was so proud of myself. I was like, yes, because you breathe fire and do all these fiery things. Why don't we say you have Drake blood?
He's dragonborn, like the imperial bloodline.
Well, apparently they're also just like great right?
You know, the dragon emperors being dragonborns is kind of a lie to a large extent. Certain lineages are, but not all of them.
Yeah, it's just a take it for granted thing.
It's unclear whether or not wearing the ruby amulet, or the amulet of kings, bestows dragonborn status upon you by Akatosh.
For potion making, the clams sometimes have clam gall.
Clam gall? Yeah, it's hard to find. It's one of the harder ingredients to gather. But it's easier in this location because there's a lot of beaches. I believe that's actually what caused this entire catastrophe in the Second Era was Aquilarian Varus, whatever his name was, trying to force himself upon the Ruby Amulet and not being Dragonborn and essentially breaking the covenant.
Tricked into a ritual that defamed the amulet.
Yeah, Mana Marco convinced him that he didn't need to be Dragonborn in order to put it on, which was not true.
And it tells you, do not attempt magical rituals if you don't know what you're saying. It's literally one of my very favorite books called Last Apprentice series. One of the villains gets taken out because he doesn't understand Old Speak well enough to figure out that he got rigged to get used as a sacrifice. Because his master went the old ritual that he was going to try to do to summon one of the old gods.
Always read
So
the fine
much fun.
print. So we need to return to the lighthouse off in the distance.
There's actually something here I've got to pick up. I can't figure out. Lighthouse orders.
What on earth is this? Oh, it's just a cooking
Idol
fire.
Kitteraf. You need the idol. Did you
I
grab
grabbed it. Yeah, I grabbed it.
It was so tough for me to get that lined up to grab.
A little finicky. What's everybody up to? What are you guys doing on a Friday night? Who else is off for the rest of the week next week? Raise your hand. Me. I'm off for a whole week.
Nope.
Vacation.
Rating.
Yeah.
Grading. With a side of grading.
Citrus said raise his hand. Let's go. Yes. I love not working and getting paid anyway. It's my favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
Getting paid to sit at home and stream. Pretty great.
And with the idol, place it here, and I shall call forth its light.
Alright.
Mother Kinnereth, this traveler has set
They literally
out
use a
desecration
divine
of this
idol
holy place.
to light the lighthouse. That's pretty cool, right?
And let your light shine over the land and sea.
Brings faith in the gods to a different level.
It's easier to have faith in the gods when the gods are
Literally
active
just
beings. Yeah.
I cannot thank you enough. With the idol returned and the light
You
restored,
maybe don't stand
we can
directly
ensure
in the
safe
path of the
passage
beam,
many
lady.
a weary traveler.
It's very bright.
Is there any way a priest of humble means could repay you? A blessing, perhaps? Shortly
What
after
if
the
she had really
lighthouse
bad vision, though?
finished,
This would be a
I
terrible
spied
job for her.
3 ships on the horizon. Then suddenly, the clouds darkened, and a terrible storm began to blow in. I lost sight of the ships after that. Perhaps they were simply blown off course? Aminos is notorious for its storms, but Kinnereth generally blesses High Isle with fair weather. I wonder, the way the storm swept in seemed unnatural, and it happened so soon after Kinnereth's idol was
Sabotage.
removed.
So we're thinking like a magic storm?
The idol has little value
mage
outside the
traded
lighthouse. Its light does not shine in any other location.
That's
My
big
order
magic
believes
for a
Kinnereth's
mage.
light blesses High Isle.
Gave me
Why
jizz.
steal the
It'd
idol
have to be.
and let the
It
knight
could be yeah. It could be an army of mages or just one.
Oh, we got a field boss.
One
That's
big
not too
mage.
far.
Citrus said after this next week I have 2 more weeks of classes left. I have 3. I only get 2 weeks off for Christmas.
Are you taking Citrus or teaching?
He's taking.
Go.
He's taking.
He is about to finish his anthropology degree.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, very cool.
So you want me to take us to the shallows, or do you want to do the field boss? It's sort of close to the shallows. It's just a throwaway.
We might as well do the field boss. I'm down.
I keep calling it a field boss. I mean, world. It's open world.
Field boss is like it's the same thing. There's a ruin, Druid's Gate, off to the east. Oh, look at the sunflowers! This is so pretty.
Yeah, it is very pretty. I've done dig sites here, and it's very interesting to see what enemies come to try to kill you.
Oh,
I've been attacked by
Yifri's
centaurs.
Cauldron.
Yeah. I think there's only one entrance.
I don't even have anything marked on my map here. Who's
We
this
actually
guy?
have players.
Oh, he's got the Nord hero armor that you get for the Golden Pursuits. Kind of chunky looking armor. I don't know if I love that or not.
It's supposed to be the Nord hero armor that's been reskinned.
It's not though. It looks nothing like the anniversary armor based on the cinematics. It's a totally different outfit. Unless I'm very wrong, which is possible. Is the world boss already dead?
He's dead at the second.
Okay.
But we don't know
It's
how
just
long
weird.
they've
It's
been hanging out.
literally not. Oh, it is marked on. Is this it? It's a giant. It's a giant knight. Oh, the sable knight. Oh jeez, he almost killed me. That was scary. I should eat a meal after this, right? That would be good.
Yeah, unless you want me to send you, yeah.
Ouch.
Oh, I think my meal just wore off too, so excellent timing on that.
It's like starting a boss right as your enchantment runs out. Never runs out right at the end of the boss. Ouch.
And we have another tank here, apparently. It's getting awkward at times.
Yeah, there's a lot of players here. Benefits of the event going on. And you're dead. That is a big old knight. Very large. I wonder if he's like a ghost under that suit. What
I'm
on
gonna
earth?
send you like a sugar skull. They, I think, are rated even higher than the, whatchamacallit.
What's the duration on them?
Give me a second, I'll read you the stats. Slottables.
Camo. Armored camo. What a cool looking player.
Alright, it is... for 2 hours.
Oh, that's...
Max health by 4,620. Max stamina on Majeka by 4,250. And health recovery for 462 for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a lot better. I'll definitely take one of those.
Yeah, I can't guarantee I'll always have them, but we stream so rarely enough that I'm probably going to make them.
That's the candy skull. I don't think I was able to get that ingredient. Or that recipe, I should say.
It is a master level, so it's hard to make.
Bewitched sugar skulls. Delicious.
Indeed.
Inventory. Surprise.
Rightfully good. Sorry. I can't help it.
I'm gonna eat it. I'm eating it. I ate it.
Right. And players also sell them if you decide.
Nice. Ooh, it's Tan
Found
Lauren.
a bunch of those.
I want to have a look at them. It's the new elf. Someone has her as a companion. Very
Yeah, I've
cool.
seen her a good bit.
Very cool.
Oh, and I've seen them a good bit.
To be fair, they are using a female base, and they didn't try particularly hard to make the character androgynous, which is not the same as non-binary. I realize that. You can be femme or masc presenting and still be non-binary, but it is gonna confuse people to a degree.
Cause oopses.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Oh, whatever that was horrible looking. It was like a wear gear.
Yeah, there's some
I hate that.
monsters here.
Wow, that's a pretty view. We need to investigate the shallows. This looks a bit like Somerset.
I have all kinds of glowing bodies over here.
Oh yeah?
Keep in mind I'm a necromancer, so every time there's a dead whatever,
good point.
I see a glowing.
You don't look like a salvager. Come to join up with those so-called knights who've been hanging around, did you? Bah, I'd rather go hungry than swear myself to the likes of them. Haven't seen anything sail by in the lock recently, and no new wreckage washed up today. But I've been keeping my head down. Those robber knights have been chasing off salvagers who won't promise to help them. They were recruiting, or at least offering the chance to earn a reward. They wanted people ready to haul in whatever came ashore. Several salvagers went with them. I wouldn't, though. What I find is mine. To a cave just down the beach. But I'd avoid it if I were you.
Yeah, this group
Old
is
Carvel
seeming
nearly lost his head snooping around there. I don't know if
They're
they
definitely
found
heavily involved in the 3
but I
missing
think they
ships,
left a few nights behind to watch
if not
them out.
outright responsible.
I gotta tell you, huge quality of life improvement with changing the game system to the actual modern game system. I actually can hear them tell me things.
Yeah.
So now I'm literally just 20 seconds ahead of you in the dialogue because I clicked her first.
It's much better.
Oh, no, such great timing. Xander, as this guy attacked him, screamed back, "I'm a scholar, damn it." Oh my.
Xander seems perennially unhappy.
He really is just a crotchety old guy.
An eternity in space hell will do that to you, I suppose. For several
Plays
eternities.
So many animated characters and so many things. He's supposed to be Naruto's mentor, and he also plays the main mage. Oh god, what the hell is that anime called? Something my niece wanted me to watch. It was a bit too much of a romance, but it had okay plot.
I had a kid today asking me to walk him through the manga section, and our manga section is larger than the public system. And he was like, "What do you recommend?" And so I'm like walking him through some stuff. I'm like, Tokyo Ghoul is really popular. We have all the classics, Attack on Titan, so and so. I get to Bleach. He goes, "What's Bleach?" I'm like, "How have you not heard of Bleach if you're in the manga?" Right? And then there was another one that he hadn't heard of. I think it was Attack on Titan. And I was like, "You're joking. You're joking me." Like, Attack on Titan is firmly entrenched in the zeitgeist. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure boomers would know the term at least if you said it.
Yeah, they would know that it exists, certainly. Bye.
I really liked Attack on Titan, but I didn't finish it. It got too weird towards the end.
Yeah, I heard they lost the plot a little bit.
It's surprising how often that happens.
It happens when you don't have a plan.
Y-
That's
yeah.
probably something that I say for the original Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Mhm.
That writer went in with a plan. It was a 5-season plan. They attacked, they did it, they moved on.
Honestly,
Something else good.
the older I get and the more IPs come out, the more impressed I am when someone starts with a very specific endpoint and sticks to it. I have to
Black
say that
Clover is supposedly doing the exact same thing. I think it's the same writer.
that's been one of my great disappointments is The Boys. That show lost the plot after like 2 seasons. Like seasons 3, 4, and 5 are just how can we shock you more and more and more each
There
time.
were some things that did make me laugh though.
Oh, it's funny. It's still fun to watch. It's just like the overall larger structure of the storyline is kind of not there.
There really wasn't much structure in the very first season, so I didn't expect it to get better. Plot doesn't usually get better. It
I mean,
can't.
to be fair, it's Eric Kripke who wrote Supernatural, which was like 4 seasons and then just fell apart.
Darken the beacon. The locals revere that light. Who would dare offend Kinrick in such a way? Something is indeed wrong here. At least our missing ships reached these waters, but this storm worries me. Tell me more about the Rogue Knights. The Ascendant Order, here. I heard rumors of knights troubling folk outside of town, but I had no idea they were the culprits. I've had dealings with the Order before. This doesn't bode well. Tell me, did you learn anything at the Shallows? It seems the Ascendant Order knew the ships would be wrecked, and they helped make sure by extinguishing the lighthouse beacon. They knew my cargo was coming to High Isle. This means the Fighters Guild and Mages Guild delegates are in danger too. Ah, you caught that, did you? My missing cargo is more delegates for the conference. Perhaps the most important ones. But I need you to check on the guild delegates right now. They went to visit a druid named Ravana. Her hut lies to the west. The Ascendant Order models itself after other knightly orders, but they're nothing but terrorists. They claim to stand against those who would subjugate the nations of Tamriel under Imperial rule, but I suspect they plan to take power for themselves. They are well-funded and have a strong presence on the mainland. They proclaim a powerful message about greedy rulers and costly wars, but it's mostly rhetoric. Not that the common folk see that. Our conference makes a tempting target, I'm sure. Valencia of the Mages Guild is a dear friend. We shared a few adventures when she was starting out, and I called upon her when I needed help with a conference. She enchanted the invitation medallions the delegates require to attend the conference. I only met Guild General Quentin when he arrived. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders, but the war has cost him dearly. He lost his wife in a raid. I understand why the Fighters Guild chose to send him to the conference. Her name is Ravana. She's something of a local apothecary. She uses her skill with herbs and healing to help the folk of High Isle. With the conference delayed, Valencia was curious about druidic magic, so off she went. Quentin decided to tag along.
We need to go see a druid.
Indeed. No, it's a bit of a walk. It's nice being able to use a horse again. It's the only thing about using the characters I hardly ever play is that they have horsing at like level 3 or 4.
Maxing out your steed is a huge commitment. It's 6 months if you don't spend any currency on like the training scrolls.
Or have some extra.
To be fair, you do get a lot from the daily logins.
Yeah. Heavy sack, would you like it or?
Finders keepers.
There's a supply
Oh, we're not gonna
shop
play
there.
that, or else.
Alright, first one's yours. First one's yours. Next one's mine.
I think that's how we ended up with the first thing, because you spot everything, you just...
Oh, that might be true. Druid
You're
Ravon.
grumbling over it one of the times, and I'm like, I think that's how that started, because you decided... You literally called me a little loot goblin, our first,
You are a loot goblin. That's not inaccurate. I've played with worse, though. Some people are true true vacuums.
Yeah, it used to be how I'd get through the Borderlands. It's like, alright, just pick up all the shit, we'll sort it out when we get back to base. Because you don't want to do it in the middle of a gunfight. I do not want to argue with a 14-year-old about whether or not I get the pistol or he gets the pistol.
I told them where I'd last seen the knights, and they set out at once. A clearing to the southwest. I'll mark the spot on your map. I saw a band of the knights gathering there the last time I went out to gather herbs. They forced me to retreat without them. I warned Valencia and Quentin it might be dangerous.
Her home is a bit claustrophobic. I think she might actually be living in a barrow.
Yeah, that wouldn't fit if she's a druid.
Nice and creepy. Oh no, it's got a roof. I guess it's a hut. Kind of. Kind of. No, it could be a barrow. She's self-sufficient by the looks of it. She's got a little farm.
Yeah, it's very typical. They want things that are below ground enough so that it's less of a disruption.
Probably good for storing things too.
It's also a very popular style of structure for if you live somewhere very cold or very hot, because when you burrow into something, you help equalize your temperature all the time.
Yeah. Good insulation. Just kind of
also protects you from the heat and stuff. There are like true hobbit holes.
The thing I'm thinking about though is this is an island. I would be worried about leaks, but she's fairly far inland.
Yeah, you have to have it drained properly. It's usually several feet of gravel underneath if it's like a modern structure that's being built in that method.
What on earth is that? Fawn brute?
Fawns, yes.
Fawns? I didn't know there were fawns in Elder Scrolls. It's hideous, I hate it.
Honestly, it looks like medieval paintings of the devil.
I was gonna say they went with like the most classical demonic version of a fawn. That is not Mr. Tumnus.
Not that I don't find fawns cute in some lore, it's just that's not what they went with.
No, they went with the horror aspect.
We're still standing. Be proud of that.
Yeah, and they had like a version of the Pied Piper that was a fawn that I ran into while doing a dig site.
Oh.
I'm sure we'll run into the same kind of entity again. Very creepy.
Creepy. We found Valencia?
Looks like it.
I don't... Oh, she's up there. She's spying on this group.
Oh right, I can't climb up. I'm sorry. This is what happens when I split my time between multiple games that are kind of similar.
You're the one lady
A mantle
Arabella
feature
sent
would be
to the dock,
nice.
aren't you?
Probably break the
You
game though.
volunteered to help investigate the ships that failed to reach port. It's good to see
The problem with
a
being able to climb up stuff is that you're not able to climb up everything, and it starts to cause problems.
That's one of the issues with the later Arkham games, is that there was a very loose parkour system, but it wasn't consistent or very well implemented.
They captured Quentin.
Yeah, probably Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite series. At least the early ones I've played.
I mean, Assassin's Creed essentially invented parkour, at least in the video game genre. Nobody's ever done it better, depending on the game.
Yeah, some of the chat bowls that you would climb around with Ezio in were truly marvelous for some of the solutions to keep on climbing.
Yeah, they were some of the great platformers ever made.
Ian will deny it vehemently, but he got stuck multiple times and I had to do the chapel runs for him.
Really?
Either stop for him or actually do it for him.
No. We came upon them just as they were finishing an
Assassin's Creed are not easy games. Not necessarily.
He doesn't like spatial puzzles. He's good with many other kinds of puzzles, but he does not like the video game parkour.
That's fair. I get a little bit nervous. Like I'm gonna actually fall and hurt myself.
Oblivion, could they coordinate such a thing?
Yeah, and you could totally fall and die in most of those.
Yeah.
Happening.
Think in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was set during Peloponnesian Greece, your character was a descendant of Leonidas, and they had ESO lineage. And in the Greek world, they were considered a demigod. So there were some benefits to that, like you never took fall damage.
Ransom is always an option.
Well, that's nifty.
But who
Way
can
to
really
solve
say
that.
what those helmeted
I always
bastards are
wanted to play
thinking?
the one that was set in ancient Egypt.
Origins, it's so good. The storyline is really good.
And they have done a really nice way of doing that. Since the original one, they had some cultural issue there. But it was also a hard time period to jump into. There's a lot going on.
It's not truly ancient Egypt, it's actually Ptolemaic Egypt. So Cleopatra era, essentially the ruling class is all Greek. A lot of people misunderstand that Cleopatra was Greek, not Egyptian. But
well aware.
Yeah, there's been some controversy about that recently. But what's cool about it though is ancient Egypt, you know, it's there. There are ruins to explore and dungeons. And the thing that's crazy about Egypt is so old that by the time Egypt was at its ascendancy, Egypt already had ancient Egyptologists trying to study their own ruins.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a cool dynamic in that game because when you get into like the ruling class in the big capital cities, it's very Greek, and there's definitely like a racial disparity that's really interesting. And without spoilers, some of the final sections of the storyline actually take place in Rome, which is crazy.
That's lots of fun and a really interesting empire, because that's if it's during Cleopatra's time, before one of the major splits begins to happen.
Yeah, it's like would it be? It's Pompey and Caesar. I think Caesar's there.
Which means Pompey the Great, which is, you know, kind of like Cassandra the Great. It was meant ironically.
Right. He liked Egypt a little bit too much. I think he ended up getting decapitated by Egyptians, which pissed Caesar off. One of my favorite historical factoids is Alexander the Great obviously loved Egypt. That was his favorite place. And after he died, he was buried in Alexandria, which there were many Alexandrias, but the original was in Egypt. And according to ancient history, his tomb was made of glass, and he was preserved within the glass, and it was all rigged up on this system of pulleys, and they would have slaves would activate it where his tomb would literally like fold outward, and the glass encased body of Alexander would present forward to you so you could see him just like he was in life. And historically there are records that Caesar was a huge Alexander fan. He was a huge history buff of Alexander the Great. He kind of thought they were like similar buddies. The thing about Caesar, though, is historically he's remembered as very heroic, but in real life he was fairly paunchy. He was bald. We don't see him that way in art because he rewrote himself. But there's a historical account where he went to Alexandria to see the body of Alexander the Great, and it's recorded that upon seeing Alexander the Great displayed in front of him in this glass tomb, he remarked to himself, "Alexander the Great looks better in death than Caesar does in life."
Quentin is there.
Yeah, I do remember hearing that quote before.
Lady Arabelle asked me to try as soon as we realized the ships were late. I wasn't able to make a connection with those medallions.
Yeah, the Egyptian Assassin's Creed Origins, obviously the name is fairly self-explanatory, but the story of it goes into how the creed is founded, how the organization gets created in the first place.
I'll meet you at Lady Arabelle's little pavilion, what she calls her field office, I believe.
Then it goes off and evolves depending on the location it's within.
And the time period. Certain time periods, the assassins are all but extinct. I think during Ezio's time period, they were almost gone.
Well, at least within that area.
He essentially rebuilt the Roman branch. Or chapter, I think they call them chapters.
Yeah.
I love the lore of Assassin's Creed. Honestly, like, Resident Evil and Assassin's Creed are tied for me for all-time favorite series. I tend to lean into Resident Evil because it's horror and I'm more connected to the characters. But the overarching lore of Assassin's Creed is so cool. And being like a big history fan, like obviously my minor's in history, it plays all the right notes for me. I really liked the one set during the American Revolution. I played through that game.
The very first one I was not able to play.
I played through that game while I was taking the Revolutionary War overview course in college. So I was literally picking out characters from my books as I met them in the game.
That had to be really nice, even though obviously they would have done a little bit twisting of history, just to make it more relevant for the game. They always do that.
Yeah, it's historical fiction. Some people kind of like rub me the wrong way because they're like, Assassin's Creed is so inaccurate. I'm like, they literally have teams of historians. Yes, it's not 100% accurate, but it's miles more accurate than any other video game as far as trying to retain some semblance of historical truth.
Now that was an adventure.
Like, as far as the culture and the worlds that they build, they are meticulously crafted.
Trying to be careful.
Yeah, to an extent. The ancient Greek one, they start to get more into like, they try and say it's like glitches in the Animus, but there's stuff like Medusa, and in the expansions you end up in like Hades and Elysium, and it's like, okay, like it's cool, I like it a lot, but it's obviously, I mean, they're doing ancient Greece, how could you not, right?
Yeah,
I said you deserve the truth.
That's a cool one too because it's
Vale in the Animus, is this still supposed to be Desmond that they're
No, Desmond.
continuing to torture?
Desmond, I don't know. Do you want spoilers for like Desmond's
I don't
fate?
care. It's fine.
It's been a long
I
time, I
assume he
guess.
dies.
Desmond dies in 3. The present timeline story kind of falls apart after Desmond dies. You play as a random Abstergo employee in 4, and you get recruited by the assassins out of Abstergo. And then it gets a little bit hazy for me after that, because in the trilogy that is Origins, Odyssey, and is it Ragnarok? The one that's like Viking era? The present day story is literally just like maybe 5 minutes of cutscenes interspersed throughout 100 hours of gameplay. They really stopped focusing on the present day story.
Yeah, definitely. Alright.
We need to enter a crypt. How fun is that?
I'm good with that. Crypts are nice.
Some of my favorite places have been crypts.
I wish we were joking about that.
Be like, you think I'm joking, but I'm not.
Yeah, that's the bridge we want. No, we definitely want a bridge. So I won't go like polarizing it or whatnot, but like the most beautiful area I've run into in Veilguard was the Necromancer area. Just really beautifully done.
There's something so appealing about the Burton aesthetic, for lack of a better term. You often get that in necromantic types of areas. Oh, this is fun. Look at this. Bet it would be cooler at night.
I think it has some class during the day too. Oh, hi, Jakar.
Thank you.
More locks you need picked?
So,
how about you, Valencia?
I think not, thank you.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't know many people that have had a lot of luck flirting with Altmer. It doesn't usually go well.
Yeah, Valencia doesn't know how to take it. That gets started in the intro quest to this. And it was hard to take that too, because she literally asks you point blank, she's like, is this him attempting to flirt with me? Alright, just making sure I wasn't missing a cue from the mainland.
She's probably like 10 times his age.
He could be anywhere in here.
Or at least triple his age.
Maybe someone should watch the door in case anyone follows us.
I'll keep it.
And she'll still look beautiful when he's dead.
He's an old man. Yeah.
But keep your eyes open. Who knows what the
It's like that fantastic paragraph that someone wrote as far as humans being elves to our pets, and it's from a dog's point of view. And it's like, I have known them, they're all I've known since I was a child. Now my muzzle is gray and my joints are stiff, and they are still the same. They are unchanged. It's so beautiful. It makes my eyes tear up.
I think they play with that a lot with the Asari and Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of works and kind of creeps me out in the original game when you try to flirt with Liara. It's like, really, the fact that you're a young Asari and will be around when my great-great-great-grandchildren are dead is kind of creepy.
It's hard to reconcile if you look into it too closely. That's like Aragorn fell in love with Arwen, right? By the point of fellowship, he's around 80, and I think she's at least 600. So she like knew him as a child, right? And watched him grow up, and then fell in love with him.
I can assure you from trying to write that stuff when you have the disparity of ages.
Yeah.
When you have a mage that lives for 600 years plus, it gets really weird.
Well, and even beyond the age disparity, which is uncomfortable, it's not an equal relationship in power.
Oh no, it's not. There's like all kinds of weird shit going on.
There was a really beautiful, though, quest line in ESO with an ancient Nord who was married to a high elf, somewhere in Blackreach, I think. And she was so worried about him because he'd gotten so old and he still wanted to adventure. And she was like, I just want to take him to Somerset and let him sit on the beach.
Thank the divines are all right. But where are the delegates?
Apologies, my lady. We lost our charges.
Sergeant, not all right. But we're about to get company.
Jakan, free the captains. Friend,
That's not a friend.
No, it's definitely not a friend.
It's an ambush.
I think it would be a trap, technically.
True.
We'll find Quentin.
The Knights took Quentin away not long ago. I think they're questioning him now.
Then we must hurry. Come, my friend.
Questioning isn't torturing.
That would be my guess, which they won't show in this game because they want to keep their rating down.
This is an M-rated game. but it's a fairly tame M-rated game.
Keep their rating down.
I know, it's kind of like Dead by Daylight being an M-rated game. It's like, are you though?
There is a lot of effort to try to keep the M rating and not push it over into A.
Yeah.
Nudity is not the only reason that happens, people.
This is a fun little cave. There's bones everywhere.
It is. Makes me feel very loved.
Still not as nice as that Somerset dungeon.
I think that's been our prettiest dungeon. I'm looking forward to going back to Somerset with our other set of characters.
Let's listen and try to figure out what's going on.
Oh, we're listening. Who are these people? The Ascendant Magus.
The war took everything from me. I am with you. How can I help?
The Order is trying to recruit Quentin? We have to put a stop to this.
Wait, that was Quentin? He's in on it? We have to
recruit him.
We're gonna have to kill him.
Probably.
I feel like the Fighters Guild is the more problematic of the two guilds. Mages Guild is actually fairly well behaved, all things considered.
Throw out most of the necromancers.
Well, I should say
most because I'm not thrown out.
I mean, to be fair, the Mages Guild is the reason Molag Bal is invading Tamriel. But other than that, there's a reason the Mages Guild still exists in the 4th era and the Fighters Guild has gone extinct.
Not in Skyrim, because they have the companions, but are they really trying to say canonically that they're gone?
I might be wrong, but I believe the canon is that the Fighters Guild has died out by the point of the 4th era. Yeah, he's definitely betrayed us. Surprising. It's actually not surprising because Vale said his wife died in the war, so it makes sense that he would be especially vulnerable to anti-war rhetoric.
Oh, Quentin. I guess you've made your choice.
He's chosen death.
Get back, beast.
I don't remember there being a villain who said that. I don't remember if it was a video game or a movie where they're like, I suppose you chose death then.
That sounds really familiar.
Something horrible happens after that point. I wonder if it was that Lovecraft game. Which, by the way, you ended up climbing out of a mass grave way too often in that game.
Oh dear. Which one? Call of Cthulhu?
Call of Cthulhu. Yeah. I think it happens at least 2 or 3 times, which is up there with Far Cry 3.
Call of Cthulhu is a really good game. It's actually scary.
Uh-huh.
A lot of Lovecraft games. A lot of Lovecraft games surprisingly forget to be scary.
Yeah, I would say Sinking City is probably the cheap example of that. It was supposed to be scary.
Such a shame because it's a really cool game. It's just not scary. And also a lot of the mysteries in the game are not particularly interesting, which is also a shame, because that's the main draw.
I didn't expect Guild General Quentin to turn
DLC helped some, but I have not played it more than a few hours since the DLC came out.
I never beat the main story. I was doing a playthrough with someone, and we had a falling out, and I never got back to it.
Yeah, they have a function to trade controllers virtually, I think, on both Steam and Xbox. We may want to consider that sometime.
Oh, yeah, we should look into that. That would be a cool... Maybe we could do like a stream series.
We rescued the
I'm really
captains
bad
of
about
the missing
finishing
ships.
things.
We need to find what happened at sea and what befell the Alliance.
It's been an ongoing problem. My other big one is trying to get you involved with some of the Pathfinder games and whatnot.
My home on Bay. Jacon Valencia and I have been using our townhouse as a base of operations. I'm confident that
there's
it is
multiple.
as safe from the
There's lots of good
order as
games
any
out
other
there
location we might choose.
for actual true RPG lovers. Well, this is kind of quasi-RPG, but because it's an MMO, they have structural reasons it can't be good. Not all RPGs have that problem.
And I keep a few mementos of my career.
I know exactly what you mean.
Meet me there, my dear, and we'll see what our rescued captains have to say about all this.
Of Knights and Knaves, go to Mandrake Manor.
I think that's back in the port city. If my memory serves. Yep.
Yeah.
It's actually right by the event merchant. We could probably just... Actually, it's not far. No, using a portal.
Let's go.
Oh, don't make that jump. I was about to say that's like a mile down. I might be okay, but you would not be okay.
Elves always land on their feet.
That's what they say. Very nimble. One of my favorite videos recently, I was watching a TikTok, and it's this guy drops his cat from like 3 inches up and it still lands on its feet. And then like the frame shifts and it's him holding his overweight pug like 3 inches above the table. And he plops the pug down and it just plaps onto the table on its side and stares at him with its bulgy eyes.
I bet I can bang the dents from
Why
my
did you do this,
armor
Dad? Why are you torturing me? There's like some really sad things for what people do to animals as a funny thing for social media. It's like, really? Are
That's
you or
true.
are you not a pet parent?
Right.
They have no choice in this. This isn't okay.
Ugh, I took a wrong turn. No, I didn't. There is a staircase.
And if you do something too horrible, then you're gonna end up on Judge Judy.
I think her show is called Judy Justice now.
Go inside.
It is. It is most definitely.
Find out what happened at sea. I need a moment.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, there's been some jokes about it.
Alright, we have quite a bit of conversating to get through.
I'm still walking back.
Must Zaji tell this sad story again? The last Zaji saw of Queen Irene,
think I might have
she was
taken a wrong
struggling
turn.
to launch a damaged skiff. Then Zaji was swept away in the storm. Zaji was entrusted with getting her safely to High Isle. She lost her and Koska. Zaji must admit he was sleeping in his cabin when the storm hit. He woke up with cold water, climbed into bed with him. The next thing Zaji knows, he's being fished out of the sea by strange knights. I'm saved, Zaji thinks. Then they tied me up. The annoying knights, yes. Zaji heard the commander talking. The Lord, they called him. He was angry the Alliance leaders did not wash ashore with Zaji. Zaji did not see the Lord's face, but he spoke like a Breton noble. Zaji could hear it. Zaji lost Queen Irene, and first mate Casca too. The wind and the waves must have carried them somewhere else. The Lord and the Magus, the Order's leaders, they swore to comb every beach until they found her. And the others too, Zaji supposes.
I remember Captain Kayleen.
I do too.
I honestly didn't think we'd ever leave that cell alive. I owe you a debt of gratitude, friend. We all do. And I owe Dock Master of Gonfalon Bay payment of a different kind. I visit High Isle often, and I considered Arnold a friend. An
I like
armored
her
mage
updated
and a gang
gear.
of ruffians
I was
were
about to
waiting
say,
at the
she
shop.
got a definite
They clubbed
upgrade.
down all who made it ashore. Dock Master
It's a cool
Arnold
outfit.
I
showed
think
up,
this
and
is
I thought
supposed to
we
be
were saved.
5 or 6 years later, so that's logical.
A Breton noble
She's
by
probably
Yeah.
gone up in rank
paid him
too.
to walk away and leave.
Technically, all of the DLCs take place after the events of the zone stories and the main story.
Well, like so many games, we're not getting a reminder of the time that's passing.
We were nearing
It's
landfall
really
when a
hard
huge
to
storm swept out
follow.
of nowhere.
Yep.
I like Old Republic. It was life-changing when I found out those playthroughs were supposed to take place over years, not months.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this is suddenly somewhat believable. Still pretty ridiculous, but believable.
That makes me think of, do you remember the show 24 when we were kids?
I never actually watched it.
I think it was one of the first truly like viral TV shows where people were desperately arranging their schedule to make sure they were home in time to watch the next episode of 24 because nobody had recording software yet. It didn't exist. And I was just gonna say, because I watched it, and I think I was too young to be watching 24 at that point, because he was like cutting off people's fingers and stuff. I think a lot of my lifelong struggles with anxiety come down to that show, because that was a stressful show.
You know, the crypts didn't seem to be the Ascendant Order's main base of operations. I say the next step is to find out who they are under those helms and where they're hiding. But I'm not in charge here. Better talk to
Jakarn got a
Lady
pretty
Arabella.
decent upgrade too, outfit-wise.
Who?
Jakarn.
Speak with Lady Arabelle.
Yeah.
Tell her what the captain has
Less
revealed
of an
to you.
upgrade,
I'm sure
but
she can image a way forward.
still notable. And you notice that Kaylee and Jakarn, like, don't know each other that well and don't like each other, even though they were involved in the same intro.
Yeah.
She basically loses everyone that was in that crew. Ends up not liking her for various reasons. Too political.
She's a zealot, essentially. She was willing to do anything for the Daggerfall Covenant. And morally,
give a super weapon to them.
Right, and morally, the rest of that crew just didn't accept it.
I adore this view.
Isn't
the Colossus a wondrous
I'm so sorry.
sight? Still, gazing upon it does nothing.
I started to
quell my
sneeze, I
anxiety.
grabbed a tissue, and it wasn't
Somehow
enough time
the
to
Ascendant Order
block the
learned
mic
not
too.
only
You're
about our
okay,
secret
it's not a big
feast
deal.
halls, but that the Alliance leaders were going to attend. And neither do we. We're not even sure they're still alive, but we must.
Why is she called Captain
Your
Colleen when
help has
she's
been
lost her
invaluable
ship?
thus far, my dear.
Multiple times
And you've
over
earned
by now,
every
by the
piece
way.
of gold in this pouch.
Technically,
We'll find
Jack
the
Sparrow
Alliance leaders
insisted
and
on being
unmask
called
the
captain, and
We
he
have to.
rarely was in command of the Black Pearl.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just as the Colossus watches over Gonfalon Bay, I was supposed to keep
It
the
was kind of
Alliance
a
leaders
shitty
safe.
deal.
I failed at
That he
that.
made with Davy
But at
Jones.
least they are into the
Yeah.
Ascendant
I mean,
Order's
most
hands.
deals with Devil are
Not
pretty
yet,
bad.
anyway. What did Captain Colleen and the others have
I
to
still
say?
can't get over how good the CGI was in those movies. Davy Jones is essentially photorealistic. Like, almost
God,
20,
did that
almost
take them
20
a
years
lot
ago.
of time and money, though, to get to that level.
It's because that CGI was still new-ish, and it was still an art form. They were like, how far can we push this? Whereas now CGI is just a means to an end.
Didn't end up in the shallows.
The way to
We'll
cheap
need to look
out,
elsewhere.
actually.
Yeah.
What else, dear? Well, that's a lead we can investigate. I'd like to have a
think we're
chat with
pushing to the next
Dockmaster Arnold
quest.
about that and a great many other
Yeah.
things. I detest being lied to, and he did it with such conviction. You're still on retainer, dear. Would you care to join me? The Dockmaster's home overlooks the harbor to the west. Jakarn and I will meet you there. First Quentin, now this. I hardly know who to trust. Times like these, I take a moment to contemplate the Colossus in the harbor. It helps clear my thoughts. That's one of the wonders of the archipelago, dear. The locals are very proud of their statue, even if few of them know the real story behind who it represents. I like it as well. One of the reasons I bought the manor. Such a spectacular view. The Colossus of Gonfalon Bay is Baron Admiral Bendu Olo, though most on the mainland would know him as the Colovian King of Anvil. He formed the All Flags Navy around 2260 in the First Era, to gain vengeance against the slow for the Thracian plague.
Did you talk to her about the statue? Wait, I can't even see the statue. Are we supposed to be able to see it from here? I don't see it. I assumed it was out over the water, but
These Ascendant Order thugs give knights a bad name.
yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Glad you're doing something about them.
Very odd. I think we're about due for a quick stretch break. Grab a drink, maybe a quick bite, have a good stretch, and we'll be back in like 2 or 5 minutes. How's that sound to you, Shadow?
Works for me, Karasu.
Alright. I'll be back in like 3 minutes. Hang tight, chat. You're muted. I'm about to unmute you. And we are back, ready for more adventures in Tamriel. You know, something interesting to think about is this island, or islands, because it's two of them really, is really part of the same chain as Somerset.
Yeah.
It's the same islands. So we need to find the Dockmaster, huh?
Yes. I already have his location pinned on my map. I was just spending the last of my active weeks.
Excellent. I feel like the Bretons are really good at building cities. Like very proper cities.
Indeed.
Lots of big walls and castles.
Alright, so basically we're going back to the lighthouse for all intents and purposes.
Back to the lighthouse, you said?
Essentially, it's very close.
Let's get it done.
See if I can remember how to do this without checking it out.
Mochi, what are you up to tonight? And also, are you working this weekend, or are you off? Because depending on how you answer, I have a question for you. I think you were on call yesterday, but are you off this weekend? Oh, you're at work. You're off this weekend. Would you like to guest star on a zombie stream tomorrow? I don't know exactly when. You're off the weekend? Nice. I thought you might be on call.
Well, I shouldn't just walk into someone's home.
But yeah, let me know. Because, the person that played, my friend that played in Zombies last time, Icarus, already has plans for tomorrow. And I would like to avoid playing alone, if I can help it. And not everyone I know has it. Well, she said, sure, I like murder. Is it murder if it's a zombie, though? I don't think so.
Which zombie game is this?
Call of Duty Zombies.
Ah.
The newest one.
I imagine the Ascendant brought a few drops of
Wait a minute, it's the zombie mode was so popular they made one that's just about zombies?
No, it's Black Ops 6. But the Zombies mode is a separate mode within it, and it's really good. Most of the people that are playing Black Ops 6 right now are just playing the Zombies mode.
I think I have a picture of what transpired.
Like you said, we can try to do one of the secret things if you look into what to do if you want. I'd like to try and unlock the power drill as a melee weapon. That's not specifically like something we can do immediately. You just have to kill, I think it's like 5,000 zombies. But it'd be nice to try. I still have to figure out how to unlock or how to use melee weapons.
Nothing packed, food left on the table, and signs of a recent scuffle. I think it's safe to say Dockmaster Arnaud found that his Ascendant Order friends weren't entirely satisfied with their arrangement. They've obviously spirited him away.
They kidnapped their own employee.
The Dockmaster ignored the wishes of the Ascendant Raiders. Captain Colleen saw Arnaud collect another payment at the lock.
I am sorry.
The only thing worse than taking a bribe is taking the bribe and then doing what somebody else wants instead because they paid more.
Who was it? I'm trying to think. Comic book character. Oh, there was a great moment where I think it was Lex Luthor paid someone to betray a superhero, and then he killed them after they had helped him because you can't trust someone who will betray people for money.
Perhaps they want to keep the war going.
Yeah, the dude started that actually a really long time ago. year the original one came out, but that's the thing that Baron Harkonnen's famous for, is killing his own.
That's what it always comes down to.
Traitor.
Lord Bacaro should be able to tell us which nobles.
What you said, hold down the change weapon button?
Go to Steadfast Manor.
Oh, really? It's just hold the button? It's that simple? I didn't know that. I'm still learning the game. I'm pretty new to zombies. I've never really played Call of Duty Zombies until last stream.
Almost certainly. As I said, we must be careful about whom we trust. It is a concern, but it can also work to our advantage. Gold only buys loyalty for so long, and I suspect our adversaries are not as organized as they appear. We know their opening move didn't go as planned. They were interrogating the captains to try to find the missing alliance leaders. Now they've taken the Dockmaster, who would have been more useful to them where he was. They don't trust each other. I doubt it. If Dockmaster Arnold knew where the Alliance leaders were, he would have happily sold that information to the Ascendant Magus in exchange for his freedom. We know he didn't because the Order is still looking for them. I suspect the Order wants power, not peace. When the throne is vacant, your prospects of becoming Emperor suddenly seem a good deal more promising. That sort of prize might tempt a noble with just the right mix of ambition, gold, and imagination. Lord Bacaro worked diligently to bring the peace talks to High Isle. Not everyone thought that was a good idea. I'm curious as to who opposed him and why. Better yet, he won't voice suspicions without good cause. We can rely on his discretion.
She is one of the most savvy people we've worked for in a long time.
Indeed.
It's
I'm messing with some points.
nice to have a NPC that's actually somewhat competent.
Okay, is there any other switches I want to make for quality of life improvement? Not that I know of. I'll wait for the best. I decided to spend the 3,000 and redistribute points. Because I am tired of doing no damage. Especially for a couple of abilities that theoretically might make me slightly more tanky, but in practice, not so much.
I am all for you respecking. I've been saying it for a while.
Yeah, I like to be committed. And this game, being committed doesn't feel so good. So I'm kind of a blend now of damage dealing and being a tank. But honestly, what I found for my skills was way more useful than the quintessential couple random things from the ability tower. Except for the Frost Staff Shield upgrade, which is worth it, but it's really expensive to build down to that point to get it.
Oh, yeah.
You basically have to do 2 level 50 abilities that are shitty to reach it.
That's too bad.
You there! Can we speak for a moment?
I want to help, Lady Arabelle.
Oh, I think this is actually related to the same location.
Yeah.
My associate might be able to help in that regard.
Armin de Mal.
You seem healthy, or at least healthier than most of the Manor's patients.
I remember this quest. This is a really cool quest if you're already a vampire. Spoilers.
None of the Menders recognize it, and they can't find the cause. Steadfast Manor, the ancestral home of Lord Bacaro Valoris. Once war broke out, he turned it into a place of healing for the wounded. Soldiers of every faction stay here as they heal from their injuries, but this malady threatens their recovery. The Menders are busy tending to the afflicted. That's where you come in. If you find the cause, then they might better understand how to deal with it. I'll reward you for the effort. What we're doing here in Steadfast Manor is important. I'd suggest you talk to some patients who are feeling its effects. Try Arabelle Vul by the fountain, or Malagi. He likes to watch the sea. Oh, and speak with Mender Talil, too. She's inside. I'll be waiting upstairs when you're done. I can give a first-hand report. The first symptom is the nightmares. I'm familiar with dreams of war, but these were somehow more horrible. I remember eyes around me, peering from darkness, and screaming. Constant screaming. Other patients have fevers and fits of shaking. Some become confused, believing themselves back on the battlefield. I had to subdue a dark elf who turned on a mender. Seeing the others like that, I hope that's not where I'm headed. Fortunately, no. I'm lucky, though I dread the day when it comes for me. The malady doesn't seem to strike the same way twice. That's one of the factors that has confused the healers here.
I like his armor. Very classic-looking leather armor.
Yeah.
So this place is essentially a hospice, is what I'm gathering?
Yeah. He's more than a little bit disenfranchised with it. So, yeah, there's that. But very interesting on the nightmares and things.
I'm gonna go ahead and queue our main quest while we're outside, because I think they're probably gonna run parallel.
Lady Arabelle asks about the nobility, while 2 of my retainers are missing. The Society of the Steadfast will do whatever is necessary to keep its people safe. She mentioned the Ascendant Order might be involved. Do you think that's possible? Yes, I understand that you and Lady Arabelle have tangled with these brigands before. They claim to be knights, but they have no honor. Will you do as Lady Arabelle suggested and look for my retainers? I would consider it a personal favor. I sent Grenier and Denise to retrieve a shipment from the Navia docks, but I expected them back ages ago. They were traveling the road to the south. I just pray no evil befell them. The supplies we can lose, but good people are irreplaceable. Thank you, my friend. I'll...
I guess I will talk to the residents while we're already here.
That's what I'm doing.
I was told they weren't taking new patients, not until they figured out what's going on. Still, welcome to Steadfast Manor. I'd offer a tour, but I don't quite feel up to it. Haven't slept in days. I can barely stand up straight. Affliction? A good word for it. I can feel it wearing away at my mind. After days without sleep, my thoughts are cloudy. I'm a shell of myself. Mender Rosalind's tonics help some. She knows what she's doing. Unlike some here. Master Healer Verlaine only manages the symptoms. He sedates us or just offers comforting words, but he won't seek out the root cause. Rosalind studied this affliction. She believes it's a curse of the humors, but she needs more research. I thought I was never going to walk again. A wood elf snapped the bones in both my legs. How the little fellow managed it still baffles me. And again, I can't recall much of the battle where it happened. Flashes of memory and no more. I was carried to the healers, but they had to save their magic for the mortally wounded. So I got wooden braces and some bark to chew on that dulled the pain. My bones healed all wrong.
a walking, constant agony. Somewhat. Master Healer Verlaine was frank about how I'd suffer more before I healed. They had to re-break each bone and slowly knit them back together. But the pain lessens each day. I can shuffle around now. For that, I'm grateful. We're not close, but I respect her intellect. With her knowledge of alchemy, she could do anything. She chooses to comfort and heal people. Aiding the weak isn't a choice I would make. But now that I'm in need, I see the virtue of it. I was a true believer from the moment I heard of it. I felt no hatred for my enemies. I only fought as I was ordered to. I like the idea of learning about other peoples. I admit, I was delighted when I first arrived. Now, my mind is slipping. Something is spreading among the patients. It makes us lose ourselves. I have to think it's a deliberate attack. One of the other alliances is doing this to me. Perhaps coming here was a mistake.
He doesn't have as much to say, unfortunately.
Milagi.
Yeah.
I assume it's a Khajiit.
Yeah, for Rimmon.
Such a calming vista, yes. The sound of waves lapping at the shore always used to bring Milagi peace. But now, Milagi feels like he may jump out of his fur. Fear ripples through Milagi as if he faces battle again. This one believes so. Milagi was beginning to feel strong. He planned to return to his family in Riemann. Then, at dinner one evening, Milagi could not catch his breath. His heart pounded, his vision darkened. Only Mender Roslin could calm him. Mender Roslin is a master of alchemical remedies. She mixed a powder into Milagi's tea that calmed the storm. Yesterday, Roslin told this one she might have a cure for his sickness. A new potion that looked promising. But she has disappeared.
So the healer that's been helping everyone has disappeared. It's not a great sign.
Other patients they don't want to talk about.
I thought Master Healer Verlaine was clear to Armin. No outsider should come on these grounds. Certainly not inside the manor. You see this man? We don't know what's caused his condition, but it seems all our patients share this affliction. Interesting. Well, he's a good man. If he thinks you can help, then you can stay. But if you start hearing voices or seeing strange things, tell me straight away. A shame that Mender Roslin's not here to speak with you. We truly need her. I'm afraid not, and that worries me. You see, Roslyn isn't one to abandon her duties, and some patients have vanished as well. Just gone from their beds when we check on them. I shouldn't talk about this. People are upset already.
We're getting a lot of information, but they're not really giving us much to go on.
No. Nothing to add detail to the characters themselves.
But we might find something in there we can use.
You've made your thoughts clear. No one enters the dispensary.
Maybe you heard. My talk with Master Healer Verlaine was unproductive. He always sticks to procedure. No sense of urgency with that one. Well, how did you fare? Learn anything from the patients? Everyone respects Mender Roslin. She's got a rare combination of kindness and skill. And between you and me, she plays a strong game of cards. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen her in a while. Where could she be?
That was cute.
Strange
really
that this affliction shows up at the same time people start disappearing. I don't believe in coincidences. Why didn't Vera Lane tell me about this? Sure, I'm not a member of the society, but still. Anything else? Then we need to get into the dispensary. That's where Rosalind worked. Vera Lane has a key, and so does Mender Aldvar. Get the dispensary key from one of them, and go take a look around. I'll keep watch while you're inside. I guess you could pick the lock, but you didn't hear me suggest that. Supposedly, I'm the security here. This affliction keeps the Menders busy, so I doubt you'll be noticed. Just don't break the door. We can't let patients take what they want.
Well, alright.
When you come out here, you need to look down at the shore. Stibbins is here.
Stibbins is here?
He's not a part of this quest, but he's here.
I do love Stibbins.
Poor Stibbins.
Talk to Mender.
You go to Cold Harbor, one of the daughters of, Bullock Ball takes an interest in him, one of the harpies.
Of course they do. Where's the third Mender? Oh, it's behind the house.
Oh my gosh, it was pretty delightful.
I'm on my way down.
We seem to have this thing about harpies getting a bad rap, which is funny because in the book writing, for like just random lore things you can find, it's those water spirits.
Is Stibbins a side quest?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I thought I saw him. Oh, there he is. Out on the docks. Stibbins is so reliable. What a good manservant.
Yeah, about that. There's one of the Alliance quest lines you could do where you could swap his spirit out with a guy who's been imprisoned for a long time.
Nice.
Sorry, Mender.
Oh my, but I'm pretty sure this is the real Stibbins. You don't remember swapping his soul, do you?
Shouldn't be long.
If anything unnatural.
Okay. A journal. Nightmares, fever, sleeplessness. She says suffering from the onset of vampirism, but there's no vampires here. Clearly early stage vampirism. Anti-vampirism elixir is helping. Colonies of harpies that she's getting ingredients from. Okay.
Hey, you almost done in there? I can't keep this up forever.
So she went to look for ingredients from harpies.
Find anything?
I don't think I can even go in now. Oh.
What happened?
Damn it. I talked to Stibbins because I thought you were. And you apparently went up here and did this quest, and now I can't.
Oh, it progressed it for both of us?
Yep.
It's just a single room in there, and there's a journal where the healer we're looking for a few pages talked about what's happening to the patients is obviously early onset vampirism, even though there's no vampires here, and that nobody else believes her. And then her last journal entry was that she was going into the hills where the harpies live to gather ingredients from the harpies to create an anti-vampirism potion.
I can't believe that Mender fell for the old closed for cleaning line. Well, did you find anything? Can I see it? This is Rosalind's,
I think it's glitched. It's stuck on leave the dispensary.
Related to vampirism?
You can't talk
I might
to
not have
Armin?
any more book learning than you need to swing a sword.
He has no pointer.
But I think I would have noticed a vampire hanging around. What's going on here? I can see.
I was gonna say, try logging out and logging in.
Here's something about harpy feathers. If Rosalind went looking for harpy nests, maybe we should too. She says the nests are nearby. Shouldn't be hard to find. Beware of the harpies. They can be vicious. I'd go with you, but I don't dare leave the patients alone with the menders, or with each other. Not if they're fighting off some kind of vampire sickness.
Are you back?
Nothing's fixed.
Nothing's fixed.
I can't talk to him.
Oh no.
Yep.
You know what though? We are at the 2-hour mark, so this might be a sad but appropriate place to end our stream for the night. And we can work on refixing this off stream. That way we're ready to go next time we end up in Tamriel.
Alright.
I'm gonna throw us into the ending screen. How is everyone's Friday night going? It is officially, like, definitely Friday night at this point. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I had fun. We need to look for a raid target, right? Someone to keep the party going.
Raid.
Raid. Let's see who's live. Citrus said, thanks for the stream. Mochi is Amazon shopping. Nice. What are you shopping for?
The early Black Friday deals. They've been doing them for a while. I need to get a litter locker.
Good point. Alright, stream manager. Looking for the raid button. There it is. Who is live right now? Who do we want to raid into? Tofu, Spooky, Witchy. I don't even know who that is. 13 is live. Oh, let's do 13. Let me pull him up. Alright, we are raiding the 13th Seahawk, who is playing a VR chat right now. So, if you want to stick around, I am starting the raid. I hope you all have a great Friday night, what's left of it. I will probably stream tomorrow, so hopefully I can see you then. If you're busy, that's okay too. We'll always catch up at some later point, or we can hang out in Arcadia offline, which is always nice too. I will see you all on the next stream.